we are going to be talking about that new trailer that came out for Lord of the Rings, the anime, War of the Rohirrim. So we're not going to play any of the trailer because it's going to get copyrighted like fucking crazy because Warner Brothers does that.
Oh
yeah, so you think it's terrible?
We don't,
okay,
yeah, we don't.
Let's go around. What are our initial impressions of the trailer? Kahuna, let's start with you.
It's shit.
It's shit.
Oh, thank you. Okay, I wasn't sure I was gonna fare on this one.
Okay. What about you, AC? Did you think it was shit, or you're like, yeah? Because I've seen a lot of people on Twitter. They're like, yeah, it's kind of cool. I like this. I dig it.
So, those are the same people who thought Rings of Power were good.
Thirsty. No, not
real thirsty.
Real thirsty.
When it first got my attention, I was like, interesting, and then I looked at it, and the initial whispers were like, oh, it follows this character that Tolkien didn't even give a name to, which, if you know anything about Tolkien, is he writes everything pretty deliberately. So right then I was like, oh, okay, I'm writing it off. Then this trailer resurfaced, and they were promoting it like, oh, Peter Jackson, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll give it another shot. And I was looking at the trailer, and it's actually crazy. We can get into it a little bit when we start talking about it, but
yeah, if you want to pull up images.
Overall, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, Wrangler, how'd you feel about the War of Rohirrim trailer?
Did you watch it? AC, you're a great dad. Great dad.
The trailer itself could have been arranged better. It looks like it could be good or it could go bad. I can't really tell. I was just kind of numb about it.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, for me, I think it's like it doesn't help too much to talk about the girl boss aspect of it because it is very much reading girl boss all over it. And that's where most people are going to hit it on. And that's true. That is a valid criticism to have of that trailer and that the story they're going to go off of. But something can be a cringy girl boss movie and still be entertaining.
But
for me, one of the biggest problems I had with it was like that did not look like movie animation. That looked
it looked like
TV show animation.
CG.
Yeah,
right. It looked like bad Japan 3D animation is what it looked like. It reminded me of. I was not impressed. So I'm like, this has to have a huge budget. Why is it ugly? It should not be ugly.
The face of the main character chick just looked like an anime filter.
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty much, man.
Yeah.
It was
what? Tell us, Justin. What are you laughing at? What's the chat saying? What's the chat saying about me?
Oh, with that one? Oh no,
just
about you. It's from the previous clip. Not the context won't carry over.
It's fine.
We're talking about different types of queens.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's a dancing queen.
I was making the point that the queen that you referenced in the other clip, at least that sounds better than being a Leonidas queen.
Your wife is unhinged, bro.
Great.
I said, if you give him an award, I would, they'd earn
So,
it.
All right, yeah, War of the Rohirrim. Yeah.
In their words, they could feel the weight of the unnamed character, and they felt like Tolkien overlooked something.
Oh no!
So, almost as if the story,
no.
the story of the Lord of the Rings just always existed, and Tolkien made a mistake and overlooked something that they can fix. So they decided to name this character, expand on her, make her the main character, and then surround this character with a bunch of really dope shit that actually happened. And
exactly.
That we wanted to.
You guys remember when the people making Rings of Power self-reported and are like, we've always disliked how Tolkien made orcs as an allegory for blacks. I'm like, whoa.
That is something that goes around the left wing. Yeah, but it's not just them. Like Ready Player 2. It's like something with
just obsessed with ethnicity.
Well, I think like BlackRock or somebody is like specifically targeting Tolkien because of the monster that he is, and they're like, we have to frame this guy as a racist because like literally most of like a huge portion of Ready Player 2 was literally framing Tolkien as a racist and that the whole orcs were black, which is like not true. The orcs were based off of Mongolians. Get your racism correct.
I didn't think about that, but you're absolutely right with the Mongolians.
Yeah, it is true. Yeah, I'm not saying that's
all I can think of South Park.
I'm not a fan of that term because I think it's inaccurate.
Yeah, Wrangler has a good point about this. Actually, go ahead.
Yeah. Because racist against who? Show me a second race on this planet. You can't. You can show me different ethnicities of that race, but not that race. So calling us all different races places a wider divide in our minds than what really exists.
Get him, Wrangler.
Yep. No, he's absolutely right about that, and I never heard it said until you and I talked about it, and you're absolutely right. We're not like just because one guy's ancestors are from Africa and mine are definitely not. We're not a different race. We're all part of the human race.
So
even the word itself is.
If you're ethnicist, then when the aliens show up, you'll probably be racist too. Okay, I will fully admit that. But as so far, we have not had the opportunity to be racist.
where this deep-seated fear of like an other race comes from that represents itself in human stories throughout history is actually our very real conflict with the Neanderthals, which
I still think are just another breed of human. In fact,
works.
They didn't die out.
All right, yeah, we're doing apples and oranges with our terminology here, right? It's still
potatoes and oranges. That phrase always bothered me. Apples and oranges.
Hey, don't take the potatoes from us too. Yeah. We work hard for them potatoes.
The potatoes and tomatoes.
Race, ancestry, like it's whatever. But yeah, I mean, like even so, with the trailer that we had there, like the action, like again, like. There was nothing impressive by any of the action. The elephant that came stomping in, that looked pretty bad.
Especially, and they slip on the blood and fall off the cliff too, as we learned.
Which means if the action in the animation is not on point, then you have to deliver some canon stuff that we just deliver us Silmarillion on screen. Even if it's bad animation, because if it's an anime style, maybe it'll be cool. But then you got to go and expand frickin' this character that's not even named because of your ego.
In fairness, there's a balance though, because if you go back and watch the original Lord of the Rings from like Wrangler, you might know this. Do you remember the original animated
Rankin Bass?
I remember. I had them. My grandparents had them on Laserdisc. I watched them grow up.
Yeah, and there's parts where they couldn't animate it, and it was all rotoscoped anyways. Like live action.
I liked the Hobbit when they would like hit goblins and they can't show death because it's a kids cartoon, so it would just like vibe off screen.
I haven't watched that one yet, but this was it was wild, and so it's the kind of thing. Even if you have a great story, there's something about the quality of the animation. It has to be there, even if you got a great story. And it's
I don't know. I like those movies still like. I mean, yeah, the animation's bad, but like, dude, it's all about the story. Like, it's the Lord of the Rings books are, yeah, they're bad, but it's still
frankly, the soundtrack from the old animated Hobbit is better than the Lord of the Rings movies. The greatest adventures.
I love that show. Well, it hits me with nostalgia.
It's also
but
the inspiration for the Lemmingwinks song.
Right. But Lord of the Rings is not famous for its action in the books. It's famous for the story.
It's just good, yeah.
And not only that, like, dude, just the anime style for Lord of the Rings just feels icky.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's just like
the next season of Rings of Power. Store on these Yorks in a musical number singing "Where There's a Whip, There's a Way."
You know what? Yeah. You give Hollywood types another 10 or 15 years, and it will be a horrible musical.
Yeah.
And people will give it awards, and people will like it, and the children will weep.
And then
can we talk about something very specific here in regards to this?
I guess so.
People, if done in good faith by talented people do not mind on expansion to lore and story. Look in the original Lord of the Rings movies. That scene, remember the staircase scene, that entire scene, you know how this is described in the book? They went down the stairs. That's that scene in the book. That awesome scene where they've had to shoot at orcs and the stairs are falling apart and they had to be thrown and jump. That, and even like
it's not really an expansion in lore though.
No, but it showed
a good way to do it.
That's a good, like, even look at Arwen and Aragorn.
Well, there's changes of lore.
They're barely talked about in the books. Yeah. Barely.
Yeah. Well,
that's a great
example
part of those movies.
They're expanding
example would be the what was her name? Arwen or not? Fuck the lady.
Arwen? No, that's Arwen.
Arwen. Like her character on the horse in the Fellowship of the Ring, that was a completely different guy.
That was Gilgalad, right?
No,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Gil-galad.
Gil-galad's a different character, I think.
I don't think so.
I don't remember. That's the only time he's ever mentioned though in the story. And so that was a change that was actually good. For the most part, people accepted it. So it is possible. Glorfindel or something like that.
It's possible. Yeah, it is.
But it is possible. But at the same time, it's
Glorfindel. That's his name.
That's what I said. Glorfindel.
Oh, I missed it. Anyway.
Yeah.
I have a good example here, Bets. Guys, it was it's like what Kahuna said about the staircase. Let's compare the staircase to the this protagonist Hera, right? So the staircase, he said in the source material, you know what that line was? They went down the stairs. And what did Peter Jackson, right? What did he do? He took the vibe that was already established up until that point and just filled in the blanks with what made sense, respectfully, using the vibe.
Added drama and compelling action and storytelling without disrespecting the lore whatsoever. That's how you expand on a story.
Yes. This new Hera character, yes, Kahuna, 100%. And this new Hera character has the exact same amount of source material as that staircase. It said Helm Hammerhand had a daughter.
That's it. Yeah.
It doesn't mention that she was a whore.
So what's their response is to just like invent a bunch of stuff specifically around her because Tolkien purposely didn't name her because she didn't do anything. Like, there's plenty of other. I believe at the same time, there's a female protagonist that literally helps her people survive a siege from orcs. Okay, there's your strong woman. There's plenty strong women in the Tolkien stories.
It's like the hubris for like the typical thing of them trying to make a better story than Tolkien did. But like, let's be honest here a little bit, where it's like, if this is like cringe to us, but like there's some decent aspects of it, the general audience is going to like it.
Yeah, the general audience doesn't.
But like the general audience liked Obi-Wan Kenobi.
But not
the show.
Obi-Wan.
That show was terrible. Whenever I talk to anyone, when I talk to most people about it, they're like, "Well, you didn't like Disney's terrible." But what about Obi-Wan?
Was Obi-Wan Kenobi an anime?
No.
That was live action.
Disney Plus show. Yeah.
Because it's that's fucking forgettable. Really important.
But what I'm saying is the general audience doesn't really like care about the stuff that they probably should care about, like disrespecting lore and everything like that.
Oh, The Last Jedi is my sister's
That's the point
favorite Star Wars
That's
movie.
A second bridge to cross after the fact that it's anime. I think it's going to be a major hurdle to begin with, and the story's going to be like, wait, hang on.
Well, because Justin, these people have tried to make their own anime too, like even their own original story, and they've flopped every single time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So attach it to a known brand name, and then hey, we have something here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's exactly how they sound too.
You bring up a good point. A lot of general audiences might not be familiar with the source material. As an example, I watched M. Night Shyamalan and Ding Dong's The Last Airbender. That's pretty good. Why is everybody complaining about it? And then I went back and watched the original show, and then I was like, "Oh, now I get it. Now I understand."
Yeah.
Dude, no, that's bad either way, though.
They mispronounced Avatar. The word
Ong.
But that's a different topic for.
He literally says his own name in the show. By the way,
I'm going to start screaming with a red light. We can't talk about Avatar.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But I was so the things like forget about that. Then so like what is the trailer itself like? Let's forget it's even the Lord of the Rings content, right? It's like what does the trailer show us anything? And so like you got the king or this the girl that knows this kid who's now there's an engagement being proposed, which but apparently she doesn't love him or something like that, and which is like, dude, back in the day, like all marriages were just arrangements for rights of land and stuff like that. And
really quick, I'm gonna add just very quickly that they claim that they're gonna explain why she wasn't named, but continue. So yeah, they're gonna fix Tolkien.
Sure,
yeah.
But and then so next thing you know, they're flashing a scene of that guy's father, who's probably king of something, and then the king of Rohan just beating the shit out of their guest and killing him. And I'm like, because he disrespected him? I'm like, whoa, that's a little intense, dude. Like,
one-shot them.
Yeah, you can't be killing your fucking royal guest just because they
It starts a war.
They gave a wedding, a marriage proposal for land or money or something, or gains. Like, whoa, that's so crazy. Who would ever do that?
I think they have a duel. I don't know the exact lore, but I think they have a duel, and he one-shots him.
You know what also pisses... Sorry. You know what also pisses me off? They in the beginning they're using like the maps and the live action footage from the movies to try to make us feel. I'm like, don't do that. It's not. I'm not falling for it again. Not after all the other crap you've been pulling.
That's why I felt bad for Peter Jackson.
There's a line in it though, like what was the like duel challenge about, right? But like, there's some line in there being like, "Are you really gonna fight me?" or something like that. So it wasn't like something like he challenged the king of Rohan for a duel or something like that. It seems like he was forced into it to defend himself because the king of Rohan felt disrespected. But I'm like, this is a guest, and he made a very simple request that was very expected for the time. So I'm just pointing this out because there's like very much hints of like, oh, this is going to be ass, isn't it? This is going to be complete ass.
Well, and all of that you could sell us on because, like, that's kind of what happened. Like, Hammerhand, I believe, did one shot the guy, and it started a war and all this. But I'm just going to add a few more facts here. I'm looking at facts behind the screen wall. I'm assuming I think that's you got the trailer pulled up, right? So
I'm not playing the trailer.
Right, you got it pulled up.
It is a trailer. It should.
I do not have pulled up. But...
Oh, gotcha. Well, a couple more facts here. She's the fastest rider in Rohan. She can communicate with great eagles. Trailer.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Oh yeah. Which only really Gandalf did because there's a whole story behind that. He saved Gandalf's the eagle. Angel. That's why he's able to do that.
He's an angel. It doesn't matter.
He's also an angel.
Yeah. He can do.
He also talks to moths. I don't know how that translates to eagles, but
so she can communicate with great eagles, and she's the fastest rider in all of Rohan, apparently. Yeah. And she would rather go off to war instead of, like, I don't know, help the other women and young girls and stuff of Rohan.
But a bit of a Mary Sue, huh?
There, because I know what the Spartans would do with her.
Hold on.
Hey, we have some mutated perverts up on a cliff. Can we just give her to the base? Oh, cripes, dude. Turns out it's like they have the general of the orc army. The time of women is over.
They claim she was central to the conflict, which, again, I basically verbatim told you all of the lore behind this character, and they claim she's central to the conflict.
Also, like, how about this? Like, because this character sounds like a Mary Sue.
Yeah.
But
they explain it because she's royalty.
If you explained Éowyn as a character on paper, made in a modern time, I would think she sounds like a Mary Sue.
Éowyn?
But
Éowyn. She can't really cook.
She has weakness. Yeah, no. But if you explained her on paper and I didn't see it and it was being made now, I would assume she was a Mary Sue.
No, like Éowyn was not really like.
I'm not saying she was. Listen.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I know.
Hypothetically, thank you.
She was only able to get a hit off on the guy because of Mary was stabbed him.
Yeah, with a magic dagger. It was a magic Morgul blade, I believe, or something.
She broke through that glass ceiling.
How dare you?
She killed the black.
Yeah.
Rider.
Black Rider. I'm going to add another fact here. I'm going to add another fact here. Because she would lay down her life for her people, comparing her to Arwen and Éowyn, they're already fully formed women. So what they love about her, in comparison to Arwen and Éowyn, is this new character is fierce and complex and rebellious. Comparing her to those other two major women from Lord of the Rings, this one is actually fierce and actually complex and actually rebellious.
Well, think about it. Those characters, Arwen and Éowyn, they do rebel against the authority of men in charge. But you know why they rebel? They rebel for moral reasons, for reasons that have ethical reasons. They have they don't just do it on a whim because I stand up to authority. That standing up to authority in and of itself is not a virtue. Doing it for the right reasons, that can be a virtue. It's why we don't hate the characters from Harry Potter, because they break every rule under the sun for the entire series.
And you'd think that they would get super experienced people behind this, right? No, what we get is the writer from the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance, which got
no wonder!
One season. That's basically the most notable thing he's done. I think he's done like 6 things at most. None of them you've heard of. All the actors are basically in the same boat. The animation studio, even, I think it's just kind of like, I've never heard of it. Wouldn't they be saying things like from the studio that brought you Attack on Titan or whatever? From the studio that brought you.
It looks like trash animation.
If all these writers and actors are in the same boat, I hope it's the Titanic.
That was good.
Yeah. Sorry, I had it in my head. Go ahead. We're good.
Yeah, I don't know. Like there is this like modern story that they keep trying to tell over and over again about the princess that's about to be forced into marriage, but she refuses, and it's looked as the noble thing that she refuses to do the marriage and try to, seek out a marriage for love. And it's like, guys, back then, you guys didn't marry for love. That wasn't a thing. Like,
if you fell in love afterwards, or maybe even beforehand, that's great. But
it's been done really bad in some stories. I think there was one that came out with what was that chick from Stranger Things? Yeah,
that,
it was like,
that movie with the dread. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, it was literally like she was supposed to get married for food for her land or something like that. It's like, okay, so you're gonna, marry the person you probably don't want to marry, but your people get food. It's like, yeah, that's sacrifices that they used to have to make all the time back then. You know what I mean?
And incense. The reason incense is considered a good sacrifice, just on a separate thought, I was reading the chat. I'm not sure.
Oh, that makes sense.
Incense was expensive, so like it's a stand-in for monetary wealth, because you had to like historically import it from like the Far East or something. It had this immense value attached to it, and all you do is burn it, or like have it around for smell or whatever. So yeah, burning that is considered like burning gold, or like burning your money, like offering that as a sacrifice. I don't know if that's what you were talking about. I heard sacrifice. I was reading the chat. Sorry.
I was just mentioning that like typically that people when I had to marry somebody that they don't want to marry as it's really a sacrifice, but it's like a sacrifice. Like, you gotta marry somebody you don't want to. But in turn, your people that you're, supposed to be like helping out in a way because you're their royalty, like they get something in a trade that's going to benefit them. So it's like a little bit of a selfless act in a sense, even though it's never really that case. They get like money or something like that.
It's also like, I think it comes partially down to expectations and being able to drop yourself mentally into another world, which is what fantasy is all about. Because like I thought about this recently. I was watching someone react to a portion of the House of the Dragon, and I was gathering some research material in that way. And some of the people watching it are like, "Oh, look at how immoral these people are," and I'm like, "Yeah, but you're not really doing any mental work to imagine a different time and a different place where things, standards, morality, expectations are wildly different." Like in a story like Lord of the Rings and most other fantasy stories. They're based on a different set of ideals where different things are valued for a very different reason. And some people don't go into those stories with that. They don't understand that they have to mentally put themselves not in the modern time with their modern morality. It's a very weird thing people do.
And
they apply modern morality to it. Yeah.
Any closing thoughts on the trailer? It's probably gonna be poo poo.
Well, I went over a lot of the stuff that, like, the quotes are what kind of like if I just left it on its face with telling you what they did, right, and then threw Peter Jackson's name on it, that's one thing. But then I really needed to explain to chat and everybody listening, like, these direct quotes that they're saying, like, they literally think they can fix Tolkien. They purposely zoomed in on a character that had next to nothing written about her, just to self-insert and write their own story within it, to expand on that idea of trying to fix Tolkien or whatever. And they're going to pepper it. They're going to surround it with all kinds of like actual real cool canon stuff, like Hammerhand one-shotting the guy. Like, okay, that's cool. But then you got the shitty animation studio, which I'm assuming is just willing to play ball. I'm kind of getting into like speculation at that point. But why aren't there like masters behind this? You got Peter Jackson's name on it. Where's his like stubborn insistence that he used to have?
Also, if you're going to make an animated Lord of the Rings story, why would you do something that would look better in live action? if you're going to do an animated Lord of the Rings story, show the angelic war between the Balrogs and dragons and Ungoliant, the world-eating spider. Why would you not do something cool if you're going to make an animated Lord of the Rings story?
Why would you do the very human story and make that anime?
Yeah. You know, I was thinking, probably there's a bunch of animation studios that did get this like project, and since it's Japan, they're probably like, yeah, we're not doing that, because like they are big on like not clashing cultural ideas. So like they might see it the same way that I see it, and being like, no, this is not like, we're not going to do it in a Japanese animation for Lord of the Rings.
They should have did it Western thing. For sure.
Yeah, it needs to be in a Western style animation
just to honor Tolkien. Peter Jackson, where you at?
Exactly, because they will do that. Like tattoo artists over there, they will deny people tattoos all the time. I remember some guy, he went to get like a Japanese woman in the like traditional outfit, a geisha with like a Mexican mask, and the tattoo artist said, "I'm not doing that because it's clashing cultures."
Japan's up there. He's like, you have bad taste. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, they will. Yeah. I mean, that one was like an obvious one that would get like discarded, but they will discard things for that all the time if they feel like it's not something that they'll do.
How about an American Eagle with an American colored headband, like bending over?
Oh, they would love
a Japanese flag. Yeah.
No, they're going to do something American. They're going to American the fuck out of it.
I'm going to drop a little boy on you.
America.
All right. Any other
a British animation studio would have been cool too.
Yeah. No, because they're not very good at it. Anyway, moving on. Okay.
Tolkien, but any other thoughts on the topic?
Overall disappointment that it isn't a bad dream and it actually is real.
Yeah.
I hope people hold Jackson's feet to the embers a little bit, so that he can just kind of feel what he's stepping into here by allowing people to run away with his name, because we're talking about a man who's known for sculpting the music of the original Lord of the Rings movies so that it just sounded more like Catholic music, because he knew that Tolkien was a devout Catholic. So to set the mood, what's a better tone than to just lean into the man? Like, this is probably kind of like what he's into, you know what I mean? And it conveys a fantasy vibe. Like, nobody even blinked an eye at that because it fits so well, you know?
And he was
like,
doing work on a different time.
I think I remember hearing an interview with him where he said that he looked at it as if he was making this movie for Tolkien. Like, he wanted to make something that if Tolkien were around, he can present it to him and it would appeal to him.
And I think the studio heads were a lot more willing to do that. They're not anymore, and that's probably where we're going to.
Now, is he directly involved with this project or no?
Yes. I think his name is just on it, bro. With how many changes there are, that's why I'm kind of still not.
Well, originally he was originally attached to Rings of Power too. Before he's just like, oh, they're not going to listen.
They didn't call him. Yeah, they never called him.
Which I will say,
I'm going to hope that it's actually good. There is a chance that could happen. I'm not going to hold my breath, but
I'm like, that's a 4%
I would love to come on here one day and tell you guys, hey, surprise, surprise. It was good.
Bit of a size.
But I will say it's going to be better than Rings of Power.
Oh yeah.
It has to be, right?
You just watched a clip from the Iron Seas podcast. Make sure to like this, subscribe. It helps us out a little bit. And please catch the show live at 9:30 Eastern every Tuesday.